So, good evening, class. For seminar today, we want to look into the work that we have been given, the chapter 1 that we are supposed to write, so that we can present to at the seminar class. Number 2, we also need to appreciate that we would be required um to by your supervisor. Sometimes your supervisor will tell you that bring a chapter 1 or bring a research proposal so that you can build a relationship with you and start the supervisory process. So what I'm going to do today is to take you through what are the key components of the chapter 1 and actually how to write it. We have done that quick one with you before, but this one we want to look at different samples, and if there is time, show you how to write the different sections. So thank you very much for your audience. And now if there is time to, then we'll complete our data collection things that we're discussing today. For both classes, we were able to reach sampling. So and then we finished as well. We got artifact examination. Just left it about a slide or two. So the chapter 1 on the proposal tend to have a relationship. The proposal tells us where you are going to do, where you are going. When we accept the proposal, then we tell you to go and take the proposal to chapter 1. So usually after a proposal, your supervisor may give you comments. He may even tend to change the topic. He may tell you that I don't agree with what you are doing. Those of you who are doing who have the recent made visible, this chapter 8. So the research proposal plays a primary role in the relationship between you and your supervisor. It's not illegal, but it's an academic contract that tells us that this is what you want to do and this is where you are going. So the supervisor and you can be able to have a direction where you want to do. Usually when they accept it, they tend to write chapter 1, but some supervisors just go ahead to write chapter 1, knowing that as they give you comments, you finish it, you are moving to chapter 2. So it's not anything strange if you go to, it's not anything strange if your supervisor is telling you to go to chapter 1 straight away. I hope you understand me. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so whilst the proposal is not a fixed blueprint, meaning that it is going to be flexible and your supervisor can change some things in it, it tells us that this is the minimum contractual direction that we want to go to, what I want to achieve, the knowledge I want to contribute, and whether it's acceptable before you as a supervisor. So this is the relationship between the two. The research proposal will just cover your background, your problem and the purpose, objective questions, significance of study. And then some supervisors will let you do the literature review, methodology, limitations, project schedule, outline, chapter outline, and then references. The literature review is not always compulsory. It depends on the supervisor who is supervising. But for what we have told you to come and present to us, this is what we are looking for. Minus the research proposal, the methodology, because at that time we know we are not finished. So what you're going to present to us as chapter 1, we are not required to hold on. You're not required to add the proposed research methodology, but it's good that you have it. Because it's not compulsory, but I think it's good that we have it so that we know what you intend to do. I'm talking about for the seminar class that I'm going to present to us so that we can give you guidance, whether whatever you're thinking to do is in the right path or not. But this is important. 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 This is not really, this can be considered. This one can be done later when you're finishing your work, but I'm talking about the research limitations. So maybe I'm not out. Let me just give me a second. Let me just use a different color for that. Okay. So it depends. Yeah. But the other ones, are important. This is important. It's important. So you have got this. So you have got this, this, this. These are the ones that are important. So I'll teach you. Me, what's important for me is that get this set right. This set, get it right. The background, the problem, the purpose, objectives, questions, and I'm okay for them. And for the methodology, a lot of things can change, but get this ones right so that you and your supervisor can agree on where you're going. If your supervisor is changing it is because he may see something better or he may have something better for you. So that's what we are going to do. Look into today. Okay. If you don't have any question, I'm going ahead. The research background introduces the research issue, what you're going to research on. Dina.
Yeah. Please, for now, we've not been given our supervisors. I don't know if it's just me. Okay, sure.
I said it that we are still not finalized, and the supervisors also they are very tired and busy. So I wonder if you meet them, we can continue. But at the end of the day, the seminar class is a seminar class. They're going to assignment, so you do what you're supposed to do in seminar. Whatever your supervisor tells you to change, you can change it or you can drop it and change, but learn the skill. So you have been given about 3 weeks to write something. So let me put in the help for you. Whatever you end up doing with your supervisor, by the time the 3 weeks over, you know where you're going with your supervisor and you can make the changes. But I don't want the day you show up on the seminar and you can't present because you didn't write it because you're waiting for supervisor. That's not advisable. Do you understand me?
Yes, please.
Now, you have also given us some topics. If you go to your supervisor, before he may change it, he may look at what you have written. He may, and we will tell them that you have started writing something already. It's only that sometimes some supervisors are very particular. They may have something they want you to come and do, and you have to just check whether it's of interest to you, so the two of you can have a way forward. Victor, if you don't let me talk, I will not be able to teach you. What's your question?
What if you change your topic? Can you start working on that one rather?
Yes. Whatever you change, whatever you submitted to me was just a guideline. Even if you are writing and you start changing your topic, I don't have a problem. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. The research background is introduction to the research issue. It's the introduction to the research issue. The objective here is to discuss what you are trying to study from the practice perspective. I don't want to use that practitioner. Practice perspective. So what is happening in industry concerning what you want to do? And what are they saying concerning it? Some people may even define the topic that they are trying to research on and then introduce why it is necessary. In fact, that's another point, why it's necessary. So I tell you that the problem in the business is in the research background, and the problem in the research is the research problem. That is a very important statement you should keep in mind. When you see a problem in business, it's not going to go to the research problem, it goes to the research background. So you see a decline in employee productivity is in the research background issue. You see an upsurge of cybercrime in Accra is a research background issue. You see an upset failure of SMEs to be able to maintain their books is a research problem issue. You see increasing in phishing attacks is a research problem issue. All those are research problems. The research background issue, sorry. All those are research background because they are talking about the things that happen in practice. The research problem is more about the things that happen in the research. So when you start a research background, we want to discuss research issues. We may use statistics, research issues in the practice. Statistics to back the phenomenon and then, oh, this has been going on. And even there is statistics to indicate or suggest or highlight this particular issue. But the issue in terms of research is in the other one, the research problem. So what I'll do is that I will show you an example, then we can identify whether the person is doing the right thing or not. And even the person is doing the right thing, what can we learn from it? So the first one I'll open is, first of all, remember that there is a format for submitting the thesis. And everybody should go and do the format, the preliminary pages, because that one, I don't want you to come in with errors on that one. At least that one should be done well. And I want to give you the samples after I ask that you do the right thing. Okay, let me just check something. So on this one, do I have a research background example? Good. So look at this one. This is a research background. Social networking is increasingly becoming a phenomenon in the social business lifestyles of employees. Then he goes on to start that statistics from the 2011 Forbes report. He's establishing the issue from a global perspective, from an American perspective, before it comes to Africa. That's something I always tell students, that whenever you are discussing a phenomenon, don't go straight to Ghana. Look at the things and how it has been looked at, examined at maybe at a different country, maybe at the global level before you come to Ghana. Many students straight go to Ghana and then they are short of words after a few lines. They don't know what to write again. Then they start repeating sections and confusing themselves. It's a long essay, so you need to take your time and travel through other countries, write about the phenomenon you want to study in the way it is experienced in other countries before you come to your country, Ghana. So statistics for the 2011 Forbes report on social networking and business stated that 85% of workers in America spend a minimum of 30 minutes of working hours to visit social network website. Then the reference comes. I brought statistics. So these statistics are not too far from that of Africans. That is a hook phrase. That is linking what I'm going to say about Africa to what was said and compare it to what was said in the US. A recent study in South Africa also found 70% of South African workers interviewed browse Facebook during their working hours. So what has he done? He has been able to establish that the use of Facebook in your workplace is an increasing phenomenon. And look at the title, Social Networking in the Workplace. So he has used that one to be able to establish that the phenomenon about social networking in the workplace is not just an African phenomenon, it's a global phenomenon. And it is true and it is prevalent. So the first thing that you want to do in the background is to establish that whether there's even relevance in the thing you're trying to talk about and who is saying it is relevant, whether it's an issue, whether it's of interest to people, what are the patterns that have been occurring around what you want to study. Then he goes on to say that then again means that I'm come to add on to the previous argument that social network is increasingly becoming a phenomenon in the workplace. Then again, beyond the concern of the growth of social network in the workplace, so that's what he's told you. It's to summarize the first paragraph. Learn how the person is writing and linking sentences. Then again, beyond the growth beyond the concern, where is the concern? The whole paragraph above is the concern of the growth of the use of social networking platforms in the workplace. So that whole statement, then again, is summarizing a previous argument. All this thing is summarizing a previous argument from here to this place. So it's summarizing. And it's summarizing what is above. There have been concerns about the implication it has on both employers and employees. So he's now bringing a new argument in here. And he's still talking about practice, so employees. So while some employers have been reported to requesting access passwords to employee accounts, others are exploring policies and strategies to leverage social media in marketing and sales. So there are two issues as pointed out here, that employers are collecting their passwords for employees because they want to follow them and see what they've been posting on their page. Number two, others are considering what kind of policy can we have to control or to minimize or to encourage the acceptable use of social media in the workplace. That's what it is asking. So it has argued out about the problem concerning social media in the workplace. Then it goes on, somehow businesses have to respond to this growing phenomenon. However, the questions are, should employers be concerned? What are the potential risks and benefits of social networking in the workplace? And how can businesses address those risks? So this is the research question he wants to answer, but he has not stated it in the exact way as a research. He has highlighted it or he has signaled it. So by the time he finished the research background, he has signaled where he's going or the need to do something. He has pointed out that in participant perspective, there is a need for us to do something. That is what he has done here. So now let's look at an example from a current thesis. Oh, sorry, a recent thesis that has been finished. Oh, sorry. I think I have to erase the things I was writing. Okay. So this is the work we're looking at earlier, Winifred Benson's work that looks at gender-based threats in the use of ride-sharing applications in Ghana. So I was saying that this kind of cover page and things, you should be able to do it, the preliminary pages. I think there was a template for it. I don't know whether it has been shared with you. Has it been shared with you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so everybody should do his own. So you put your name, the title, then your name. Those of you who have your computers, you can do that. And put your index number there. And then this one is a generic statement. Please, there's no weekend in the title. Don't go and write weekend MBA inside there. Some of you like doing that. There is an MBA degree. When you go there, you are graduating. Nobody will check whether it's weekend or regular or afternoon or evening. They'll just check that it's a you yourself, will you want to go to Harvard and go and say your weekend, your MBA is not good enough? It's a weekend MBA. Okay. Then you write the year. So you'll be finishing hopefully next year. So I don't know whether October or September. Usually I'm supposed to finish in July 2026. So you can write that one there. Declaration. That's where you write the supervisor's name and your name. I, Andrew Adani. I, Efuasam. I, Maud. I, Bernard Kuku Ofosu, do hereby declare that this work is a result of my own research and not be presented for any academic award in this or any other university. This one you can do it. This one you can copy and paste. It's normal. I change here. Don't go and copy Winnie's work and submit it that you are Bernard, but for this work you are called Winnie. Then remember to change this one, the index number. You see that whatever template you have, change it. The supervisor, put your supervisor's name there. Don't go and put somebody's name there. And you are not supervising yourself. Don't put your name here and write supervisor. We are laughing. You think I'm joking with these things? So surprise what else I can do. Abstract, you're not sure of yet, so you can leave it. If you can write the first paragraph or after, it's up to you. That's no problem. And maybe the main goal of the study. If you want to write this part, it's okay. But I'm not saying do that. You don't know it yet, so you can leave it empty. Dedication, you know the dedication. You know that you are going to dedicate the work to maybe the Almighty God. You're going to dedicate to Allah. You're going to dedicate it to a supreme being, or maybe you may dedicate it to yourself. And then you telling me that you tell him why you're dedicating the work. Then secondly to your parents. Her parents are evangelists, so evangelists Miss by Tabo, who have always believed in me. In fact, when I was doing for them, was surprising to see they never knew the father was an evangelist. So. Annie, Amanda, Samuela. Okay. So they are all girls. Winnie, Annie, Amanda, and Samuela. Okay. So you dedicate, you don't go and write Winnie, Annie, and you don't have any brother called or sister called Annie and Samantha and Samuela. Yours is maybe Abna, Joa, and then maybe Memuna. I don't know. Please write what you are supposed to, your own. Let's do this is somebody's own. No, this is somebody's mantra. The sisters understand what it is. Let's do this. If yours is Yanko Didi, you write Yanko Didi or something like that. Don't write something that it is not yours. Just do this. Well, just do what? Your family members don't know what just do this. This is. So please write what is up to you. If you are married and want to write your husband's own, that you, secondly to my husband, is yes, we done it together. Yes, we done it together. That's why we are here. You write it. Yeah. Or you put the ring on it. Yeah. Put the ring on your finger. He has married you, so maybe you're happy about it. And write it there. So some of your husbands are sponsoring you, so that's why I'm saying that you may want to write it there. Don't write you may kiss the bride. Please, just write what is meaningful to you and whoever you are dedicating this one to. Then acknowledgement is this acknowledgement is very short too. Acknowledgement is the people that helped you throughout the journey. So your supervisor is the one, and don't go and copy her own. unflinching guidance, and clout of superior experience. Please find what you write about your supervisor. Maybe your supervisor is a person who likes fufu or something like unflinching guidance and the spot you use to eat the fufu. Something like that. Maybe, I don't know. A special gratitude. Maybe other lecturers in the department who have helped you. So you can mention their name. Especially those who helped you, maybe clarify something that helped you to do your work. Then your parents again. That's what she did. Then Mr. and Mrs. Aqualotti. I don't know what they did for her. Because this was the people that helped them collect data. Okay, Obed helped collect data. But so the people who helped you collect data have to be featured. Obed, I know. Obed was doing a PhD in the area. So I know she helped them collect data. Okay. Thank you. May God bless, may good Lord bless you all. Thank you. So please. Then you go to table of content. Because you are not finished, here may be empty now. And remember that appendices will come. Interview for riders, interview for drivers. List of figures, the figures you use, and then the conceptual framework. The tables in the work featured all of them. Most of the tables are in chapter 2 and then chapter 4, if you look at it. Chapter 4 is the findings, chapter 2 is the literature review. And then the abbreviations, list of abbreviations. Okay. So all this first part, next week you should have done it. And next week I think they are saying you should do face-to-face. I don't know whether it will come on because of what happened this weekend. I know some of the students cannot pay twice and come again. So whatever happens, let's try and meet online and just continue. Okay. That's for the seminar. And for the main class, we'll discuss differently. Okay. So chapter 1, introduction. Ride-sharing applications. Now let's study what we said. We said, what did we say? We said that discuss what is happening in the industry and then try to define what you are doing. I also advise that don't just focus on Ghana. Try and focus on other countries before you come to Ghana. It doesn't mean that every student does what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what I advise. So let's check what else she has done and bring in statistics of what is going on. So she has written a very long chapter. It's very long, though. I'm really surprised. A long research background. So let's look at ride-sharing applications have made transportation convenient for a lot of people, especially in Ghana. I would have said that globally and not excluding Ghana. Now, the widely accepted instance of sharing economy. You see, the statement he said first, she didn't put any reference there. So somebody can query here that, you said this argument, where's your reference? So you may want to put some reference here to support it. Maybe something from Ghana Web, from whatever FM, or even from an economic paper, just to show that it is true. So we need a reference here. The widely accepted instance of sharing economy has transformed how people move around. Okay, this is an open statement. Okay. Ride sharing services like Uber, Bolt, and Yango, in addition to improving urban mobility, are also allowing individuals to save money with a cheaper prices. Save money with generally cheaper prices they offer compared to the traditional means of transport. The effect of the sector is glaring and the benefits are countless. I would have said that you should reference here too. Because this is a claim. You said it's cheaper. Where is the evidence? However, despite the massive acceptance of riding applications in Ghana, where is the evidence? Massive. Hey, madam, massive. Massive. You need one cannot discount the negative aspects the disruption has brought to already existing players in the transportation. I'll put reference. There are news articles about Ghana GPRT not being happy, and other countries, other local unions not being happy. You can put the references here. So this particular paragraph, Winnie didn't do well. She has only got one reference. Please, I'm showing you the good and the bad. I'm not attacking her. She's one of my best students. So, but maybe at that time, this is what she did, and we just let it go. But at least we expect you to have references for all the key arguments you are putting across. Don't say that if Winnie even will go away, you won't go away with this. You won't get away. If you come and present and you have this kind of mistakes, I'll point you to you. Okay. Ride sharing companies have had several security incidents reported to them as consumers are being exposed to several threats and risk. So where is it? Where's the evidence for this one again? We need evidence for this. So evidence for this is not there. Evidence for this is not there. Evidence for this is not there. The first one, I may leave it because this one can cover the two. This reference here, the first reference can cover the first two lines, but the rest there are no references. So every 20 words, I tell students that there should be at least one unique reference. Or even worst case now, every 50 words. According to Macmillan Dictionary, I will not advise you to do that. Don't be quoting from dictionaries. But he quoted from a dictionary. You can quote from somebody's work on the definition of threats. I will not advise you to quote from a dictionary. So I'm showing that one too. So according to Kwame Nye and Johnson, a threat is a situation, so that will be better. A situation or activity that could result in harm or danger. Risk can be classified as technological risk and pertain to privacy, safety, and liability. Lee et al. Classified them under, you see, you even have Lee et al. Who has classified them. So you can quote Lee and how to cover all this. Lee et al. Classified them under assault, harassment, theft, and among many others. Users of ride-sharing applications have every right to be anxious about their safety because, according to Uber, among 19 deceased parties in the 2017-2018 report, 8 were riders and 7 were drivers using the Uber platform. That's interesting. You see, he's using statistics again. So we want to see statistics backing your points and your arguments in the introduction chapter, in the background. We said background. Uber also concerning sexual assault. Uber also mentioned in the report that riders account for nearly half of acute parties. Wow. That 45% of riders are causing sexual assaults. That's Uber report. I don't know what is the Uber report. Then Lanfranchi and Madariga have stated that this poses a challenge that centers on how consumer protections are being monitored and what standards for citizens within the mobility space are being ensured. Okay. There are several explorations by researchers into how these risks can be governed. So where are the several explorations? When you say that I need to see a bracket here, that will have all the references there. That bracket is not, the bracket is not there, the references are not there. So we query here again. This needs a reference. We say several researchers. So several researchers, I have 2 or 3 papers should be here. It has been discovered that the Singaporean government, for example, so what she has done is that instead of putting a reference there, she's illustrating the reference here rather. So that is also sometimes acceptable. That if the reference is not at the end of the sentence, the next one is an illustration that buttresses the previous argument. It has been discovered that Singapore government, for example, has implemented a control-oriented strategy that seeks to regulate the potential dangers and threats by managing the development of ride-sharing and collecting information about private highs, ride-sharing drivers, private high ride-sharing drivers. It's a private high rather, and introducing and reviewing regulatory laws. Okay. Passengers have increasingly become less concerned about giving out personal information in creating accounts, even though some disagree that ride-sharing service providers can protect their data. They are now stuck to the service. Using it requires that they provide their personal information. So the argument is trying to put out the government is doing something, but on the other hand, passengers are logged into the relationship. So whether they like it or not, they have to provide their personal information in order to use the service. So there are limited options for passengers. That's what he's trying to point out. It's that he didn't write it out clearly, but you can, if you read it, you understand. The workplace is no longer limited to a physical environment due to the workplace digitalization that we see in ride-sharing services. There is a marriage or coming together of these two spaces or environment, making them more unstable. This increases the threats drivers and passengers might face because they will be interacting with strangers whose behavior they cannot predict. Threats can also be referred to as risks and hazards. That's more 2018. In fact, more is a very good paper for threats. A threat is a situation that could lead to or cause danger or harm. Now you have bought the Macmillan definition again. This way is becoming repetitive, if you realize. Example of threats drivers and riders can face include discrimination, harassment, personal loss, and cyberbullying. Others are physical. So the others, and where are the reference for this? In fact, this whole thing, there are no references for these examples. Okay. The focus on human rights, discrimination, and toxic work environments have been heightened and been given much attention in recent times. The start of the Me Too movement. All these are arguments she's making. Where are the references? The Me Too assault towards women in the workplace have been highlighted, and the encouragement from its forerunners have seen a lot of victims in different work environments speak up. 11 and Faith L have recognized that males and females have different patterns, they have travel patterns. Okay, so the problem about here is that most of the time students combine ideas. This idea was about discrimination in the workplace, issues concerning women's rights and stuff. He didn't finish the argument, he went straight to travel patterns. So the argument here is hanging. Please, are you holding? And this is what sometimes you the students do. Try to keep one argument per one paragraph. One argument per one paragraph. It's easier that way. Levin and Faith. Okay. I recognize that. Let me highlight that one too. In fact, he could have done the whole work without having that in the work. He could have just cancelled it. Okay. Levin and Faith L have recognized that males and females have different travel patterns. For instance, while women lean towards public transport, which includes ride-sharing services for making trips to places like work and childcare, men tend to use private cars. Wow. Bashram, it's out, 2020. Okay. There has been other gender-specific studies in developing countries like India on safety whilst using ride-sharing services. Mesham et al. 2020 also mentioned in their research the main issues specific to women. They are afraid of being victimized in public places. They have scarcely available transport facilities during night hours, and a small number of women, a small number of them own private vehicles. Now, the statement here, gender-specific studies in countries like India on safety using ride-sharing services. There's no reference here. There's another problem. It's an argument you are put across. Then it goes on to say Mesham et al. Also mentioned in their research. Okay. And also mentioned their research, the main issue. So that one is also a continuation of the argument. The other one that you put here on India, you could have put references there, but you didn't do that. Despite the concentration of women challenges in countries like India, where is the concentration? Where is the reference? Not there. There is little known in the same in Ghana. Okay, that one we know. And there's not much to be discovered about there's also much to be discovered about what females and males encounter and what peculiar threats they face. So he's highlighting the question he wants to address. Remember, I say highlight the question. Don't state it categorically, highlight it. Urban communities and spaces are not gender neutral, which is true. And there's a difference between how each gender travels. That is true. This has to be articulated and the derivation of it, of whether they exist owing to gender powered hierarchies embedded in our society must be known. That's good. That's a good argument. I think this part is a very good argument. Ride sharing services cannot be flawless, are not flawless, or so revealing the underlying attributes and enablers for trends that occur in the space is a great trend. It's great for the transport industry. So you see what it's saying. It didn't say it's great for research, it's great for the industry. The research background should highlight the industry, the problem in the industry, and why if we do the research, the industry will benefit. Or they highlight the type of organization, maybe it's an NGO that is doing something, and why doing that study will benefit that NGO. Okay. So he has been able to highlight the question without pointing out what he's going to do research on that area. I highlighted it. Then we go to research problem. Before we go to research problem, let's check again another example. Please, any questions can come. Yes, Anita, please go ahead.
Hello, Prof. Please, so I noticed that there's been so many references.
It's not
How
enough.
do
I'm arguing there's not enough. You say there's many.
um okay, so I'm building up on it. So how do we identify those references? Like, is it an argument we want to claim, and then we need to maybe go to Google Scholar and search for a related research topic, and then we'll be able to identify a particular argument that we want to talk about, and
Okay,
then reference the writer?
okay, it's both. Because most importantly, if I were you, if I'm writing a topic, I would download papers that are in that area and look at how they write the introductions. That will guide me to introduce my work. Do you understand me?
Yes, please, I do.
So you have to download the papers and read and get ideas from them to do that.
Okay.
The
So
other
in a
way,
way, we are doing a literature review, even though we are about to draft our proposal.
yes, or draft your chapter. Literature review is not just a product called chapter 2. Literature review is also the act of writing, reviewing to fit a section of your work, a
Okay.
concept of your work. So in the background, you are reviewing literature and statistics to be able to introduce a topic. That's the essence of the review there. Literature review means that you are bringing literature together and then pointing them together. For example, let me just show you another paper, and that will help you. This student is doing adoption of ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning Systems in the public sector, the case of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So let me go straight to the introduction. So I'll put a title that they will do and look at the introduction.
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. Is this thing doing this? Okay, don't worry. I'm just trying to put a title there for referencing. So don't go and put a title in the introductory chapter like that. So
Yes, Prof.
So this is it. So this is what the person is doing. And we are in the chapter 1. So this one I just put it there for referencing. So you know that I'm discussing this. So this way he starts. So he starts from going straight to ERP. He didn't go and beat around the bush. ERP planning system, ERP, that's Enterprise Resource Planning System, have evolved as a critical technological advancement for organizations worldwide. Start at the world perspective. Enabling, and this one is, you see that what the good work is, the references are there. Enabling the integration of business processes and improving operational efficiency. The references are the 2020, 2020, 2020. He's using recent references. So usually I tell students that stay within the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. Don't go too far. Unless necessary, you have to define something that the definition comes from the past. Over the past few decades, the global adoption of ERP has been driven by digital transformation, cloud computing, and advancement in artificial intelligence. I need a reference for this. He doesn't have a reference. So I would have queried him if I was as a supervisor. He didn't do it. But look at the second statement. Does the second sentence support the first argument? It's possible. CATU 2000 traces ERP's evolution again, from the materials requirements planning to modern cloud-based solution, emphasizing its impact to industry or industries through operational efficiency and innovation. So it is kind of saying something here to support the other one there. So I'll let him go. However, despite its benefits, ERP adoption presents several challenges. So he is coming from the challenges perspective to point his problem. Sometimes whenever you are writing a background, you need to show where the problem in industry is and why you are trying to do this, or the opportunity in industry is and why you are trying to do your work. So he's saying that CATU, however, despite its benefits, ERP adoption presents several challenges, including system integration, data security, and change management. Do you see this paper? This is the same paper that is here. So the beginning, he introduced the papers he has been reading, these 3 papers. I will not be surprised this CATU 2020 is also one of the papers that he's been reading. But the rest of the papers is the same papers that he's been reading and put here is what he's using. Look at CATU Tavana Eta 2020, the next one. Ali and Machina again. Then Udin again. This thing I've been teaching the students and I'm happy he's doing it. He's using the same references that he used to introduce the work to discuss that section. So like sweetheart, like question you asked, the references he needed to write this whole paragraph is just 4. 3 of them is what he introduced here, and this is the 4th one. Even this one could be a reference that was cited by these people, one of these people themselves, maybe. So technically, the whole chapter, the whole paragraph here is written by only 3 papers. So if somebody say, I need 7 papers I can write, 3 papers has written the whole paragraph. How many words? It is not counting to tell me. 171 words. What is every 50 words you have one unique reference. 171, he has 4 references. He has satisfied what Prof has said. Perfect. So ask yourself, write in paragraphs and gradually. All he did here was introduce the area. The small paragraph he wrote. I just want 200 words to introduce the area. How should I go about it? I'll download 5 papers from from what's the name? Google Scholar or from Science Direct or whatever it is, and I'll use it to write. But he has not introduced any statistic here too. Note that. ERP has been proven to be an essential tool for businesses. This one. And its effectiveness depends on factors such as organizational readiness, top management support, and technological compatibility. If you think about it carefully, the one that talks about benefits is this guy. The one that is talking about factors that influence is this other guy. So 3 good. The role of ERP in digital transformation has been extensively studied in the private sector. However, a gap remains in understanding its long-term impact and readiness in the public sector. This is an argument and a claim. He doesn't have any reference for it. But he has introduced it very early. He's trying to say that despite all the talk there, we know there are papers in ERP in the private sector. We don't see much of ERP in the public sector. So I would have asked him that where's the reference for this? Okay, so he owes me one. I'll go and find him. He'll come back and come and do the thesis again. I'm just joking. So in Africa, the adoption, so he's going to explain himself. The adoption of ERP has gained momentum, particularly in sectors such as education, healthcare, and government services. However, studies indicate persistent challenges in implementation. So you see, he has argued what he's going to talk about. Now he needs to illustrate argument, evidence, illustration, or argument, illustration, evidence. Evidence is the reference. So this is argument. He didn't put any reference there, but he's going to illustrate based on the evidence. Evidence is the reference. Illustration is he telling you what is in the paper, what is in the illustration, in the evidence. So Aremu et al. 21. This guy is doing what? He's using recent papers. Highlight that organizational culture, communication processes, and technological readiness and significantly influence ERP adoption in Nigeria. Wow, so it's comparing 2 papers. Literature review is a synthesis of available resources and available resources, which have got a strong relation with the topic in question, accompanied by a description and a comparative analysis of each work. That's the definition of literature review, if you read my book. Now, the literature review is a synthesis of available resources and materials. So, Aremu is 1 paper. Amedi is 1 paper. It's a synthesis. Bring this guy and put them together. That's what we call reviewing literature. So, you have put 2 papers together. Wow, this. And they are all about the topic. Literature review is a synthesis of available resources and materials, which with a strong relation with the topic. The materials have to relate to the same topic. For that paragraph you're writing, that will relate with the same topic. So it's relating with the same topic. Please, I'm teaching. I'm enjoying my teaching. If you are not enjoying me, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the teaching. I'm teaching really good. Okay, so similarly, so now he's going to do a comparative analysis. He said it's accompanied by a description. What is the description? Tell me what is in the paper. Ameru highlighted that this is on its own. Then Amedi highlighted that this. And the comparative analysis of each work. So compare Ameru and Amedi. That is what we call literature review. If they are on their own, it's not analytical review, it's descriptive review. Means that you are just describing what is in the papers. When you start comparing them and linking them together with words like similarly, with like a while, you are trying to do what we call the synthesis, and that is what makes it a proper literature review. Describing what is in the paper is just a given, but being able to look at the synergy between the papers is what moves it from just a descriptive writing to analytical writing. And we want to write analytically. Okay. I think this video, people have to watch like 10 times. Okay, Aremu et al. And then Seval Amedi et al. Similarly, Oladimiji Good. Olamidimiji, 2023. Can you see the progressive use of different papers? 2021, 2022, 2023. Please, this guy submitted just last 3 weeks and he has finished. I don't even know what she got. I'll try and remember. So it's recent papers. That's why I seen the recent paper. Whilst the lady called Winnie submitted 2020 before COVID or something like that. So it's an old one. So don't say the lady did a bad work. Okay. Similarly, Ola DBJ 2020 notes that. You see, something highlight that, note that. Please learn the English or argue that, note that, highlight that, traces that. So please learn the good English. This is from the lady's called, I think, Root or something like that. This is very interesting. Note that, highlighted that. You see, some of you just go and write, and then the lecturer says. Please, I want to present. This lady maybe went to a big girl, so she's writing good English like that. Yes. I agree. You say I'll mention your school. I'll mention your school. Agree Memorial. Agree et al. Investigated ERP. Okay, let's continue. Olamaji says that this, but in Nigeria, in Ghana, you see, you talk about Nigeria before coming to Ghana. In Ghana, ERP implementation has been explored across various industries. Yet, research remains limited in the public sector. But here too, she didn't bring reference. So yeah, I'm going to query him again. But before I query him, let me check. The next paragraph, is he illustrating or is he defending himself? It looks like he's defending because he goes Agri. Agri is a Ghanaian. So he uses Agri to support what he has argued before. So please, sometimes you may write an argument, you may not defend it, but you defend yourself in the next statement. So please look at it. So while Agri et al. 2022 investigated ERP challenges in higher education, Boer and Date analyze its impact on pharmaceutical industry. So he's just taking a stock of what has been done. He's not told you what is in the papers. However, little research has been conducted on ERP readiness and adoption in government ministry, revealing a crucial gap in literature. I will let it go because you said that this guy did Agri did challenges and a board did impact. So there's nobody who is there's not much studies on readiness and adoption. Okay, in government ministries. Okay. Why? Because Agri's own was on education institutions and Date was on pharmaceutical industry. So there's a need for government industries in Ghana. For what is on the paper, the guy is right. Or whoever wrote this, Ruth or something, she's right. For what is on the paper, what we are reading here, she has argued very well. Because Oboy has gone to do pharmacy and Agri has gone to do education. Where is government in it? But it's possible that government may be there, but just that she put this one together to present her argument. And I say she's right. For what is on the paper here we are reading, is right. But if I know that Boating, I have done something in government already, and she makes that say, hey, madam, but I Boating also did something. So look at it. Why don't you mention my own? But for what is on the paper, she has argued very well. It's like, you see, when you want to go and do a proposal, it is what you are standing there with. It's true that we are saying Debbie, but how you are standing there in front of us, what we are evaluating. That's what the parents are seeing. So don't blame the parent. It's what you are standing there showing to us. You know that you have not finished your masters. You know you have not even paid the school fees, and you want to come and marry, and you are saying plenty things and stuff. Please show what you have today. So if you just say you have an intention, say you have intention, when you finish the masters, you can come, then you will talk. So here right now, he's standing there. What is on the paper? She has argued well. We don't need to go out well. What Ruth has done, we don't need, she has done all the ticks. She has talked about Nigeria, she has talked about Ghana, she has talked about other countries, she has talked about the issues. She has pointed out that war has done this and the Agri has done that, but government image nobody is doing. And look at what it says, a crucial gap. Hey, you guys, this guy, a crucial. This is careful. Why don't you become moderate and say that reviews an important? Okay, crucial, I understand, because European government is important. Crucial gap in the literature, you will hear. Let's go on. Then he comes to defend Ghana. This is very beautiful. Time that she says, she makes an argument, then comes to defend herself. So let's just see how she defends her argument. Ghana's public sector is increasingly recognizing the potential of ERP system to enhance operational efficiency and streamline administrative processes. Akron et al. 2022 examine ERP adoption in tax administration. Identifying key, but tax administration is not government. Let's continue. Identifying key organizational factors such as teamwork, role clarity, and training as factors as critical to successful implementation. Similarly, Peter et al. Assess, this girl is writing well, assess, analyze, examine. Similarly, Peters et al. Assess ERP effectiveness in higher education institutions, highlighting challenges including user resistance, adequate training, and technical limitations. While these studies, you see, it's going to show you where the gap is. While these studies provide valuable insights, research on ERP adoption, government call, now you see, this they have left the government is to call. Now you say call ministries. Because you see what I asked the question, is tax not government. Remember I asked this guy. Now I say it's not about the one, it's call. The one she wants call. Call government ministry. Who is the call government ministry in this one? But I thought GRA is a call government ministry. Call government ministries remains unlimited. Okay, now I didn't say there's nothing, you said limited. It means that there is something, but it's not plenty. So this is a very smart way of writing. Anyway, that's one that she got 78 or something like that. Okay. While these studies provide valuable insights, research on ERP adoption in Ghana's core ministries remains limited. The absence of empirical studies, that's papers, studies with data, empirical studies on ERP implementation in Ghanaian ministries create a significant gap in addressing the readiness of public institutions to integrate these systems. International studies, Charlie. Hey, didn't I tell you that you have to go and walk around a little bit, go to the other countries? Now she's bringing the international part. International studies such as Carlson, Wall et al. This one is not any Kojo and Peters and Akron and things. Carlson Wall et al. I know some of your name is foreign already, like Jacksonville, whatever it is. Your Jacksonville, I know your, but if you use your name, don't be worried. Carlson Wall et al. 2020 in Sweden. You see, he said international studies. What you mean by international studies in other countries? By the way, international is very misleading. Because international can mean that 2 other countries, but we understand what she means. There's papers outside Ghana. International studies in Sweden emphasize the importance of change management practices in public ERP adoption. However, similar research on Ghana's governmental ministries remains scarce, making it necessary to explore ERP readiness within ministries like Foreign Affairs Ministry. Okay. Wow. Now, he's going to defend it. This study focuses on Foreign Affairs Ministry of Ghana. You see, every time she does, she's watching her appetite. She'll tell you something and she'll defend. She'll tell you something and defend. Some students tell you something, they don't defend. They say that thing and leave it to go. Then who will defend you? She says everything and she defends. So as soon as it seems every paragraph, she will land with another argument, then she'll defend in the next paragraph. But by doing so, she's linking the paragraphs together. Please learn from this lady. She's really writing well. This focuses
my lord. Ani kere na agoga. Mama Rabiu.
Please who understand what she's saying.
Mama Rabiu.
Who understand what Fatima is saying? I'm saying we should learn from you. I say we should learn. Fatima,
say this one too. No translation.
No translation. I hear you.
No translation.
No translation. Thank you. This study focuses on Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ghana, a key government institution responsible for managing the diplomatic relations and international affairs. Given its complex administrative structure and the necessity for seamless coordination in managing diplomatic resources, the adoption of an ERP has a potential to significantly enhance operations. She has made a very good argument. However, research on the ministry's readiness to adopt such systems remains limited. I think the person she works there. For this one, she didn't bring any reference, but the confidence is shining from the paper. While previous studies in public institutions have identified challenges such as resistance to change, inadequate top management support, that's Agri 2021, it's unclear whether similar factors influence ERP readiness in Ghana Foreign Affairs Ministry. Assessing the ministry preparedness for ERP adoption. Assessing the ministry preparedness for ERP adoption. This study aims to bridge the existing gap and provide policymakers with insights to facilitate successful ERP implementation in government institutions. Now, this guy, before he even started the study in terms of the research problem, she has even showed the work in the background. The background has even covered everything. Then the review. In fact, the background is as good as the research problem itself. Anyway, let's continue. But it's good. I accept it. But she didn't use statistics. She just argued based on what has been there. So you can see that. Now, problem statement. Now, I think she wants to narrow down the factors. This is supposed to be a research problem. I don't like using the word problem statement. Okay. ERP systems have gained widespread recognition as essential tools for enhancing operational efficiency, improving data management, facilitating informed decision making across the organization. So it's been cast. You see, the lady, she's smart. Oh, the paper she's reading is not plain to you. Carson again, Woodin again, Woodin here again, Al Muhayafit, and Shaiti again. So these 4 papers are also coming from the same papers that she has used above them. Okay. Okay, then it goes, while extensive research has explored ERP adoption in the private sector organization, a significant gap remains in understanding implementation in public institutions. Studies, you see, one thing I like about all the things I'm talking about, especially for this one, research problem, anytime we have research problem, we want to see you saying that there have been some research, but there's missing, this is what is missing. Every good research problem should point out what is missing and what has been done already. She started doing some of it in the research background. I won't fault her. She was doing it good, but in the research problem, she's going to do it more. Studies have identified various challenges associated with ERP adoption: technological incompatibility, resistance to change, inadequate organizational readiness. Carlson et al. And Aremu. Remember Aremu? We mentioned Aremu some time ago. Do you remember? In the public sector, these challenges are further intensified by bureaucratic structures. So she's trying to point out why the challenges matter to be addressed: regulatory constraints, financial limitations, making ERP implementation complex and uncertain process. That's good. Despite global advancements in ERP technology and its growing adoption in various sectors, Udin et al., there is a notable lack of research on the readiness and implementation of ERP in Ghanaian government ministries. Given the crucial role, you know that she has highlighted a little bit of the role already in the background, that the institutions like this one is not MOFA, or it's also MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, will given the crucial role of institutions like Ministry of Foreign Affairs in managing diplomatic relations and efficient resource collaboration, understanding the adoption of ERP within the ministry is essential for administrative efficiency and operational coordination. Hey, another argument. This lady, as this is research on ERP adoption in Ghana, has largely focused on higher education, tax administration, revealing challenges such as insufficient training, poor change management, and employee resistance. These findings suggest that similar issues could arise in government ministries, which are central to national governance and ministry and administration. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is responsible for overseeing government's international relations, foreign missions, and diplomatic affairs, requires seamless coordination of resources and processes to function effectively. However, without an efficient ERP system, the ministry may continue to experience inefficiencies, such as disjointed data management, redundant ministry processes, administrative processes, and weak interdepartmental coordination, all of which could negatively impact its overall performance. The lack of research on ERP readiness and adoption in the ministry creates uncertainty about its ability to successfully implement such a system, raising concerns about potential financial losses, additional operational disruptions, and failed efforts. Okay. The complexity of ERP adoption in public sector emphasizes the need for in-depth assessment on the readiness of government institutions to implement these systems. Factors such as top management support, user acceptance, training gaps have been identified in critical determinants of successful ERP implementation in public sector settings. Prior research on ERP adoption in Ghanaian public institutions has highlighted significant integration challenges, resistance to change, and particularly when organizations fail to conduct comprehensive readiness assessment before implementation. This study therefore aims to assess the Ministry of Foreign Affairs preparedness to adopt ERP system by examining the key factors, including organizational readiness, technological infrastructure, leadership support, and employee acceptance. Identifying the challenges, opportunities associated with ERP adoption in the ministry, the study aims to provide valuable insights into risk and requirements necessary for successful transition to an integrated system. Conducting this study will yield significant benefits for the public sector, especially in enhancing operational efficiency, optimizing resource utilization, and fostering data-driven decision-making. So it goes on to explain why it's important to do it, and this research will contribute to the knowledge gap in the public sector and offering evidence-based recommendations to policymakers. Furthermore, the study can serve as a reference for other ministries considering ERP adoption. Through this research, the challenges and opportunities of ERP implementation for government institutions should be explored, ensuring that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is adequately prepared. So we go to the purpose. This study examines the adoption of ERP systems in Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is simple and straightforward. It's aimed to evaluate how ERP systems can address administrative inefficiencies, enhance interdepartmental coordination, and optimize resource utilization. So the question then, describe the nature of ERP adoption within the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Ghana. Evaluate the potential impact of this on organizational efficiency. Explore the challenges and opportunities associated with adopting and preparing ERP systems in the ministry. Okay, this one technically is not an objective because you are talking about challenges which you are supposed to do already. However, I'll let it go because of the way it's logically presented here. I'll let it go. Because you talked about impact and said the challenges and opportunities associated with adopting and preparing ERP systems in here. So what is the nature of ERP adoption within the foreign affairs? What the potential impact and what the challenges and opportunities associated with the adopting and preparing? So this is how he has done it. She has linked the two together. The purpose and the research problem has come out here. Then the purpose relates to the research problem. The purpose and the relates to the research background. The research problem relates to the research background. And the objectives come and then the questions come. Excellent. Okay. Now let's look at Winnie's own. Then I can answer your questions. It's almost time to. So Winnie's own, she needs more references, if I'm right. Okay, research problem. Ride-sharing services have become widely accepted as various services, and the variation of various services, the variation of services they offer that make simple their existing cumbersome traditional counterparts will continue to improve. So let me read you wrong, I'm confused. Ride-sharing services have become more widely accepted, and the variations of services that they offer that make simple their existing cumbersome traditional counterparts will continue to increase. Studies concerning ride-sharing numbers. This argument again. Then you show the papers to us. Where are the papers? Where are the numerous papers? Various aspects have been researched, including the level of security concerns riders have and the security benefits purchases derive compared to the traditional transportation system. Okay. Security features that ride-sharing applications have our counterparts are not all-encompassing in handling risk and threats. However, in Mexico City, 20% of drivers who were previously taxi drivers switched to Uber, with the main motivation being safety. Okay, that's good. So he's trying to point, but this one was more like a research background, not data on research has been done. In Singapore, risk and governance measures have been implemented, and researchers pose that using an adaptation-oriented approach will be more beneficial to decision makers in dealing with the technological risks that come to play when innovative technologies, including ride sharing, when using innovative technologies, including ride sharing technologies. Creating an exclusive service to women drivers have been explored in Brazil, where research found out that 5% of women riders will be willing to add 20% fare to use a safe-space ride and decrease its physical harassment by 50%. And that it decreases physical harassment by 50%. Okay, so they are saying that if they do a woman riding exclusivity service, they will be happier and they will sign up for it. I don't know whether they have yet done it. Another study gave attention to understanding driving patterns among women drivers of ride-hailing services and how they desire the ride-hailing companies and women would improve the security of drivers by adding functions such as sharing live location, policies that do ensure that safety is not sacrificed. In relation to how risk can be governed, De Jong et al. Points out a context gap, stating that the governance model developed for Singapore cannot necessarily be copied to other countries since the technology adoption is high and government is proactive in governing risk. That's in Singapore. However, also concerning this gap, some studies have explored threats to safety of women drivers and users in other countries. Meshram et al. Proposed that studies should be conducted in other geographical areas where research has not been done, since safety perceptions differ from one location to the other. In relation to this issue gap, CAMS and COMERSA submits that the general advice concerning safety fails to acknowledge the role of gender in the transport safety. They dwelt on sexual harassment affecting women, but did not explore the areas specific to men. Again, according to Lagos et al., in their submission on gender-specific benefits in Chile, security issues affect women more in public and private transportation. Therefore, it is also necessary to replicate the assessment of threats in evaluating passenger and driver fatalities as distinguished by gender. De Jong et al. Recommend that a further study be conducted on the laws regulating ride-sharing service providers as to how the ones that exist address current security threats. That's very good. So he noted at the end that there have been a call for research in this area. So that establishes why he's doing the study. The main purpose of the study is to investigate differences and responses to differences and responses to gender-based threats as experienced by riders and drivers in the use of ride-sharing applications in Ghana. This research focuses on the users of ride-sharing platforms only. The riders, and then the drivers who are consumers and the service providers, respectively. So he's studying the riders and then the drivers who are consumers and service providers, respectively. What are my questions? That's 4 of them. Identify the various threats experienced by riders and drivers of different genders in the ride-sharing economy. Examine the gender differences in experience of the threats and examine the different gender differences experienced in the experiences of the threats and their corresponding effects. Identify the individual responses to these threats and examine the mechanisms to prevent and control such occurrence of threats. I'll not advise you to use identify. Can I say explore, examine the individual responses? So he wants to study the threats, the experiences between the genders, and then lastly, how they both respond to the challenges that have been coming up. And what mechanism can we put in control to prevent it from happening again? And the same thing goes to the questions. What are the threats experienced? What are the gender differences? What are the individual responses? And what are the mechanisms? Okay. So that brings, then go to the significance of the research. And that will tell you why you are doing the research. The aim of the research is to provide insight to gender-based threats. The study will have impact on research, practice, and policy. In research, what are you responding? In practice, what are you responding? In policy, what are you responding? That's what you are going to write in this section. Let me take your questions. So a research problem, what is it doing? Please let me take your question, or they are in the chat room. So how many times can I cite an author in my research? So far as you need it. But it's not advisable to say cite that same author like 5 times in one page. It doesn't make sense. Is that the only author you are reading? So what we saw here, we saw that people, the same author have been cited maybe only twice on a page or twice in a paragraph. But the more you read, the more you find other people which are similar. Yes, your question. Yes, go ahead, Solon.
All right, thank you, sir. So I want to find out, can you reference or cite a journal that has not been published?
Okay, there are different types of journals. There's something so-called preprint that is yet to be published, but it's available online. If it's available online, it was made available online, then they even tell you how to cite it. You follow it the way they should tell you to cite it and then use that. But if it has not yet been published and it's not online and nobody knows, only you know, Please, how can we be sure that what you are saying is true? We know you are
Okay, sir. So I'll give an example. For instance, this particular work that you just showed us, that maybe the person has worked on it as passed. And through that long essay, you also got a topic that you want to work on. So is it okay to reference that person or just do different new references that have been published since you got your idea from this person's project or long essay?
I don't know how to explain it. So you got your idea from somebody's work. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so let's just say the past people, the people who just graduated, or some of the things you just showed us. So for instance, Ruth's own, maybe in the recommendation, he recommended that, oh, somebody can do this. And it's based on that recommendation. I had a chance to.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. So, that's not bad, but I don't think you're going to cite somebody's long essay as your citation. Maybe we can cite some of the papers he used. Because I understand why it has not been published yet. But yes, because if you put it on, if you cite it, nobody will be able to find it. You are right.
Okay.
But you can make the argument based on the work and say that there have been attempts to look at this in literature and that this is what they are pointing out. So you can use the same arguments he used to start his work and point out you want to go further.
Okay, sir.
You have a good point because the thing has not been published. It's just as long as he has finished. And you see the trick, the difficulty is that if you if you got the idea from somebody's work and then you submitted it and like I showed this roots work and you have an idea and you go and write and bring it to me, it's likely that I will say that this is the same way that Root did it because I supervise the work. But if you take it to another supervisor, he may not necessarily know. Unless you go and copy everything verbatim, then when you do the plagiarism check, he will catch you. So what I've seen is that for ideas, it is almost similar, but the questions you ask will be different. So the person asks this question, but you can add one variable. The person asks this question in the banking sector, but you are doing the pharmaceutical sector. So it will be a similar question, but you have changed the sector in which the work is being done, and you have justified it. This work that we just read about ERP, he's justifying it for where? In Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But somebody can justify it for rural banks. Somebody can justify it for even another institution in Ghana, another hospital or another healthcare institution in Ghana, or something different from healthcare. Please, you understand it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so I downloaded an article from Google Scholar and uploaded it to Mendeley, but Mendeley ignored some information. So manually put the information there. Go and find the title and everything, put it inside. Because Mendeley cannot be able to, it's an AI, it cannot be, or a software. It cannot be intelligent in reading everything. So if it's ignoring something, go and put the rest there yourself. You can manually do it yourself. Okay, Mustafa, I've answered your question.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, so this is another research problem. The adoption of social media in the government confronts a series of barriers. Some of the barriers relate to records management, privacy, and security issues. So as social media includes a two-way communication, the risk of inserting malware in government website exists. Then he cites one of the references. So the IT people should repair to protect government's information technology infrastructure. Government that would like to implement social media need to verify the people in charge. If the people in charge are in charge of updating the media, will have time to update the new communication channel. Why? Because he doesn't want the information to be outdated. The lack of resources and procedures could undermine the accuracy of information posted on social media. That is all the first part was establishing the context and why there's a need for more studies. The next one says that although the use of social media in Mexican state government portals is recent, that government portals in the UK, have started using government portals. Okay, so it says that, however, in contrast with other countries, due to our knowledge, there is still no guideline on the use of social media in Mexico. The study of perceived risks, benefits, and strategies will be helpful in development of such guidelines. Okay, so what has he stated here? He has been able to make a case for him to do the research in that area. And that's what your research problem will do. Okay. And this is an example, but it's for a different field. Let me stop here and then point out, and the second statement thing I want to show. Okay, this is another good student. I work from a good student. We can look at that next time, but I just want to just show you something. I'm showing the wrong one. Good. This is employee vulnerability to phishing attacks, a case study of MTN Ghana by Jim Rex Addy. Okay. So you see, it starts by looking at the growing integration of information technology into modern business, introduces cyber fraud, and then we start pointing some of the high-profile cyber fraud incidents. Explains what the phishing is. Goes on to show the different types of examples of what phishing has occurred, where it has occurred, and then who is saying it is relevant to do a study on it. Then introduces MTN. Telecommunication like MTN Ghana face heightened exposure. And gives, for instance, he's bringing you statistics. In 2024, MTN Ghana had to issue a statement to all social media channels, cautioning its customers about fraudulent misrepresentations. So he pointed out that one. So he goes on to discuss some statistics here about US governments and the COVID part and the rise of all of these things and the rise of phishing attacks. Okay. So when he does that, he is able to establish that a study is needed. Look at what he points out here. Despite this insight, research has overlooked the role of the context in phishing. He has mentioned phishing susceptibility. Scholars argue that incorporating contextual factors is crucial for more comprehensive understanding of cyber security risk. So the study will focus on MTN. He makes a case for it. Then go to research problem. In the research problem, he's going to look at global studies. Globally, studies indicate human factor, including lack of cyber security awareness, susceptibility to psychological manipulation, contributes significantly to successful phishing attempts. However, these researchers predominantly focus on developed economy, and then they didn't look at developing economy. It makes a case here. And in developing regions like Africa, addressing phishing threats is complicated by contextual factors such as limited access to cybersecurity tools, gaps in regulatory enforcement, and varying levels of digital literacy. Then it gives an example from Nigeria, and then it gives another example from Ghana. Then it says that recent studies on phishing attacks in Ghana are mostly focused on financial and banking sectors. Okay. Despite the growing prevalence of the phishing in Ghana's telecom sector, the limited research has focused on employee-specific vulnerabilities. A recent study by Japan and Boachi to examine how successfully cybersecurity procedures work to stop fraud in Ghanaian telecommunication companies, utilizing a quantitative approach to obtain comprehensive insights into challenges and strategies involved. However, the findings of the study cannot be generalized for all telecom firms due to the qualitative technique employed by the researchers. This gap underscores the need for localized research that bridges global insights with unique challenges faced by MTN employees who have had cybersecurity training. Interesting. So it's possible that the first study, they are not done the cybersecurity training. Now he wants to look into it. Okay. So if you look at it very carefully, he says he continues with the last paragraph. There's not supposed to be any comma here. Okay, good. Kwadade Kujo et al. Also examined in one objective. Examine in one objective the behavioral factor of employees of Vodafone towards phishing. The behavior of employees vary from firm to firm based on organizational culture and values. Hence, this study seeks to address these gaps by assessing behavioral factors of MTN employees and exploring the behavioral and organizational factors contributing to employee vulnerability to phishing attacks. In my view, all that you want to do is to make an argument and you want to do this research and who is backing you. That's all. That's what you want to do. So if I'm in the research problem, I'm going to use existing papers to point out the gaps and then make a case for my study and even compare it to Ghana and make a case. If I'm in a research background, I'm going to use statistics and other research work to be able to make a case for my work. In both of them, you are trying to highlight why the research phenomenon is important, especially in the background, and why researchers are looking for that knowledge. In the research problem, we are going to find out the existing research that has been done, even if it's few, what is missing and what is new that you can add by doing the research in Ghana. These are the two differences. If you get it right, you can formulate your research purpose, research questions, and then research objectives. Okay. So the purpose is here. The study seeks to explore the factors that make employees at MTN vulnerable to phishing attacks and to generate actionable insight that strengthen the organization's defense systems. The next one says that is the objectives. It says the level of phishing awareness, identify behavioral and organizational factors, and evaluate the effectiveness of existing cybersecurity training programs at MTN. Okay. So that gives us the objectives and this one gives us the questions. Then we are finished with that. So this is the end. We have been able to appreciate. If my study is focusing on secondary education, should I bring some important information about articles in higher education? Oh, no, I think if you want higher education, maybe to emphasize a point, but there's a lot on elementary education, high school education, higher school education, and then other senior secondary education too. There are papers on that area. Yes, that you may not find much in Ghana, but you may find much elsewhere. Thank you for your question. Okay, so this is it. This is it. Any question? At least you have some confidence. I'll give you quite some of the examples that are good for you to look at, like the one from the root lady, and then the one from the for Winnie. I think I gave it to you the other time, but I'll still give it to you again in your class. Okay. Now, in the previous class, we were left with a few things to look at in our collecting data. So let's just wrap it up with that. It's just a few sections that were both of us reached the same place. So let me just quickly do that. So now I'll share the data, the document with you after that. Okay. But today has been a good lesson. I think you have learned a lot. Clap for yourselves. You have learned a lot. You learned a lot. Okay. And I think you have some confidence now. So next week, what we'll do is that those of you who are trying to start writing something, you can bring it, then we can look at it and give you feedback. That's what I'll do. You're not presenting, you just open it. Then we'll point out, okay, this sentence is hanging, this sentence is hanging. You should do something about it. Yeah. But I can show you a trick of how to write faster. But if I show it to you, you won't learn anything. So I can't, I can't show you.
Oh, so we will learn. We will learn.
No.
We need all the next.
Okay. So let us let me just go through. I thought you said you have got a class at 6:15, or he has moved it to another time. The law class is on 6:15.
Yes, please. It's
Yes,
coming on
please.
at
Yeah, thank you.
6:15.
Okay. Collecting the documents and archival. So next week I'll show you. I'll show you. Collecting documents and archival data. I mentioned that one. Some of the documents can come from either public documents that government is making accessible to everybody, which is good for supporting your arguments and then getting statistics. Private documents will be good for your data analysis. You put in some of the things to show that you were in the company. And then sometimes you may even get some internal mails to show that in case you are studying the processes that a firm goes through in doing outsourcing of its outsourcing of services. You may want to look at documents to show that they do outsourcing. So you may need that one to be able to an email exchange, a contract document, and an extract from that part can highlight that what you're looking for. Then sometimes you may look at study old data, or archival data, records and transaction logs to be able to in a longitudinal way to show that this company has been having this problem for a very long time. That's if they will give you access to it, or if it's public, then you have access to that. But before you use any data that is text from an organization, check what are you looking for, under what conditions was the data created. It may not created for you. It was created as a financial report for maybe stakeholders or a contract between them and another company. So don't always expect that the data you are looking for in one document will all be there, because you were not the target. It was for some other reason. Credibility. Who is the authenticity behind the data? Who signed it? Maybe the paper was signed by the MD, then you can say it's good. But sometimes the paper was put together by a junior staff and it was never approved. So you have to be very careful using that. Number two, when you use something that the company itself is putting out there, you can say the company reports that in your work. But if it's something that somebody has written about the company, it is reported about the company that, so that you can say that one is a third party. But if the company is reporting themselves, it is the company reporting, so the company reports. On no circumstances should you use what the company is reporting as you are the one reporting, because you didn't write it. Otherwise, if there's a problem, we'll hold you responsible. So pass on the blame to somebody else. Either a third party is reporting or the company is reporting. So Vodafone says that we now have 3,000 customers. I'm going to say Vodafone has 3,000 customers. I'll say Vodafone reports that they have 3,000 customers. However, if NCA says that Vodafone has 3,000 customers, NCA is the regulator. I can say Vodafone has 3,000 customers, into brackets NCA 2025. So that's the kind of thing I want you to wait. Vodafone gave me the same 3,000 customers, but I will never write Vodafone has 3,000. I write Vodafone reports. So it's reporting from their own place. But if NCA, the regulator, has verified and is reporting, I'll say NCA, I'll write that Vodafone has 3,000 into bracket NCA 2004. A regulator or Bank of Ghana saying it is stronger than the company itself saying it. So keep it in mind. Okay. It doesn't mean that it's more recent than that. Maybe MTN's own Vodafone or Telecel may be saying it based on yesterday's count. But NCA has done the analysis as of last month, ended last month. I will say it's safer to go with last month's own than to go with this month's own from Telecel, because it has not been verified. They can come and say it's a mistake, and you have analyzed your whole work based on that mistake. Okay, so know where you claim on the data. Completeness, is it complete? Is it you are studying a firm, then they give you statistics about their sales, and the two months is out, and then you go and say average the company makes this in the year. 2 months was out too, and the 2 months was Christmas and January, which are critical months. So if those 2 months are, I'm very careful going to say that this is what they go to averagely. I rather say out of the 11 months, 10 months of the year, 10 months of the year, this is what they go through. Than to say that this is the year on year, month inflation. If some months are out, I will not want to do that. Don't take the blame for data that is not there. Okay. Then you can also analyze the data by using content analysis. When we do thematic and content analysis, I'll explain that. Artifact examination. Sometimes you may have to examine a product. Maybe you are studying a woman who sells shea butter. You have to examine the shea butter. There's hard shea butter, the raw, and then there's soft shea butter. Then there's shea butter that are mixed with other fruits, like maybe what melon flavor, avaro flavor, avaro. Sorry, there's another one. Aloe vera, or was it aloe vera, something like that. Aloe vera flavor. There are different flavors that they mix with it, and some people also pour the palm oil flavor into it. So there are different flavors. So please, when you are examining, you are examining because you want to use it to say something and compare. So sometimes product or a tool. Those of you who are going to look at websites and use that's non-physical examination. So it's not a physical object, but it's a website. You want to analyze the architecture and navigation of the website. Sometimes you maybe have to analyze the code behind the website. So please, some of these things are possible. Artifact examination, whether you are examining the tool or the non-physical object. So take sometimes if it's an online object or an offline object, take pictures, screenshots of the artifact so that you can write about it very well. And then you can classify them. Is it a communication tool? Is it a website? Is it a historical remnant? Is it music? Is it whatever it is? You want to classify it well. Then in your coding, that which I'll teach you later, you may want to write characteristics about it so that it can make it relevant for your work. The website speed is this. The website have this number of users, have this number of unique visitors. You write all of these things down based on the data you're able to obtain. Then if you have that data, you can then link it with other data to analyze. Sometimes we pick audiovisual information, pictures, videos, social media text coming from that one. But there's pictures and videos usually capture spatial relationships, workflow processes, and nonverbal cues. For example, they give you a video about a meeting in their electoral house, and you see that some of the body nonverbal cues and verbal cues tend to indicate that the people are not happy. But somebody say chobo hey, but their face is not saying chobo hey. So you yourself can analyze and say that these people tend to say one thing in their mouth, but the customers are saying a different thing. They are not happy because you have data to be able to point out the non-verbal cues that are shown. Provide insights into informal communication and public sentiments. That's a social media text. So sometimes we do what we call sentiment analysis, which we sometimes those who do data analytics, they end up doing analysis of qualitative data from the websites of companies. It happens. I don't know whether we'll have enough time to teach that in our class, but we'll do our best. Then audio, you'll have to listen to the audio and then transcribe them. There are some steps on how to manage audio visual collection. I will not go into details. It's very straightforward. On capturing certain information, the person who put it online, the day it was recorded, the time, the location, sometimes all this is important. If you go to APA style for reference, they will teach you how to reference something which is coming from a YouTube page or a video that you have come across. But transcriptions are very easy to work with because they are translations of what the person said. And sometimes the transcription can be done automatically by YouTube for you or by a different software. Then you can then read through and check whether it makes sense before you analyze it. Lastly, we advise that you should learn how to triangulate. Don't pick data from only one source. Pick from different sources to be able to tell a story. If you are interviewing a company, why don't you take from the manager, the sales manager, the procurement manager, and from maybe one customer or two other customers to build a picture? Sometimes even the security guard can give you a picture of the issue that you may not know about. So thank you very much in what we have done today. Next time that we meet, we would, for the seminar, we will try to look at what you have written so far. And I'll show you the trick of writing first. Yes, that I have to teach you with wisdom so that you don't go and you stop writing and you start generating things from the internet anyhow. But there are many different ways that internet tools can help you write faster and get your thoughts together. That's what I'll help you to be able to learn. Thank you very, very much. Anita, your hand is up. I'll finish, please.
Okay, hello, Prof. Please, my question is, I need clarification on the assignments you gave us last week. Please, the 2B, you asked us to develop a conceptual framework where
please.
you were to clearly identify the independent, moderating, and dependent variables.
Yes, please.
So I wanted to confirm if you see there was a template you gave us that there was an element and then description when we are developing the conceptual framework. So I wanted to confirm if we should include these variables in the table or we should talk about them separately.
Okay, the work has been finished already. So why are you asking me this question now? Anyway, what is
For
what
exam purposes.
I'll go through that with you. So don't worry.
Oh,
For the time's sake,
okay.
let me not. So next time I'll go through that with you. Maybe at the individual class levels. I'll go through that with you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's not a big issue. It's not a big issue. Sure, at all. We'll go through that. Yes. The last question. Somebody, I saw another hand up. Yes. Please, are you going ahead? Oh, the question is not coming. Okay, then I'll finish. So, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for today. And when we meet next time, we'll go into details of on some of the things you have just asked me today. I'll cover that for you, and I'll add other things to cover. Okay, Terence, your hand is
Thank
up.
you. Yes, Prof. Thank you. Please, have you supervised any student who has done a design science? Or if you have a template to that effect?
Okay. Dr. Professor Awuni is the one who has done it. I'll ask him after class to send me one, and I'll share it with you.
All right, Prof. Thank you very much.
But it's straightforward anyway. If you want to do that, it's also welcome. Maybe I should teach. I will teach students how to do design science. I will go through the thesis like we went through some of them, so that those who want to choose as an option, they are allowed to. Because some of you are programmers. I myself, I came from a programming background, so I've done something like that before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, so class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
Thank you, Prof.
We'll meet next week.
Thank you, Prof.
Those of you have been spraying the handshake, the clap. How do you spray it? You clap and you tend to plenty. How do you do that? Yes. How do you do that? Is there a particular one you choose?
So when many of us select it, that's when it comes plenty.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Many
please.
only many people select at a time. No, I'm seeing somebody in particular doing this several times. When a person claps, then the thing will split into plenty. It's happening again. Okay, I'm getting to understand what she's saying. It's more like it's reacting based on the math. There are quite a number coming out together.
Yes, please.
Okay. So it depends on what people are clicking on at a time. Or somebody intentionally is clicking on one particular one. Okay, let me try to use this one. Okay, but you,
Yes, I tried it and it worked.
How do
So
you do
I
it?
clicked on it for like so many times and then it just came. So this is mine.
Okay, if you are using it, then you have to have access to the thing as one button to click it several times because because if you click it, it always hides. Okay, I've done the love one. Okay, I did the love one. Okay, I did the heart. You. Okay, 1, 2. Hey, what kind of primary school thing are we doing here? Hey, anyway, thank you. Interesting. Actually, I've been in some government meetings today, and I didn't know these big people to like doing this. These big men, MPs, and teachers are doing this. I said, I was laughing. I said, they have time to. Okay, anyway, they are human beings. They have also got time to do these things. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll talk next week, and I'll make the information we have used available. I'll copy the one that we read that we enjoyed very well, the ERP one. I'll copy it in the chapter 1 and make it available. I think that one everybody would like to look at the way she was arguing and use and learn from that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Prof.
Welcome.